In debate, there are 8 total speeches. There are 4 constructive speeches and 4 rebuttals. The constructive speeches take 8 minutes and the rebuttals are 5 minutes long. And in between all of the constructive speeches, there are 3-minute cross-examination periods. The first speech is the 1AC. It's the only speech that is entirely scripted in the debate. It is the introduction to the affirmative team's plan and should have things like advantages to the plan, inherency, solvency, and the plan text or plan planks. The next part of the debate is cross-examination. Cross-examination is just 2 people involved in it, and if you're the person who just spoke, you're the one answering questions. Cross-examination takes 3 minutes, and the first cross-examination is the second negative speaker is asking the questions to the first affirmative speaker. Next speech of the debate is the 1NC. This is the first negative speech of the round and it is not pre-scripted. In the 1AC, you can tackle things like on-case arguments, topicality, inherency, disadvantages, or anything that's just negative against their plan. The next part of the debate is another cross-examination. This cross-examination is the first affirmative speaker, or the 1A, asking the first negative speaker, or the 1N, the questions. The next speech in the round is the 2AC. This is the second affirmative constructive, and it is the affirmative's chance to answer arguments that were made by the negative team in their speech, and it's also a good time to add on to advantages of the affirmative's case and just talk about why the affirmative case is good or important. The next part of the debate is the third cross-examination, and this one involves the first negative speaker asking the second affirmative speaker questions. Next is the second negative constructive, and it's the final constructive speech in the round. This is a negative's chance to either make new arguments or they can talk about the arguments that their partner made in the 1NC. This is also the start of what people call the negative block. Basically, it's 2 negative speeches back to back, only separated by a cross-examination. As I said, there's a cross-examination separating 2 negative speeches. This is that cross-examination. It's the final cross-examination of the round, and the questions are being asked by the 2A, and the 2A is asking the questions to the 2N. The second half of the debate is taken up by rebuttals. Rebuttals gives the team a chance to summarize everything that's happened in the round, and their last chance to try and get the judge to vote for them without bringing up any new arguments. The first rebuttal is given by the negative team, and it's part of the negative block. The 1 and R should spend their time talking about what their partner did not talk about in the 2 and C, and of course, not bring up any new arguments. Next is the first affirmative rebuttal, and the affirmative team should, like the negative team did, split between the 2 of them the topics that they talk about. Again, it's just their chance to summarize everything that's happened in the round. Next is the 2 in R, the second negative rebuttal, and the negative team should have split up what they wanted to talk about, so the 2 in should spend their time talking about that, and again, just summarize everything that's happened in the round. The next and final speech is the second affirmative rebuttal. This is basically the affirmative's final chance to sum up everything that's happened in the round and convince the judge why they should vote for the affirmative. Final thing I'm going to touch on is prep time. Prep time is basically the time that the 2 teams have in a round to work on speeches in between giving speeches. Each team has 5 minutes total, and though that may seem like a lot, it is not a lot in the round. And a tip is to not take prep time before the 1 in R because it's giving the affirmative team free prep time. Ba, 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 ba.